Hello everybody, good evening. I feel like I was just on here with you. That was this morning. So I hope you guys can hear me because my music did not play in my opening. So let me know if you can hear me speaking, because I'm not sure why I couldn't hear my music, and also when I pulled it up on YouTube I could not hear music. So if you can hear me speaking, please let me know. So, okay, I believe I have sound. Let me check Facebook for sound.
Hear me.
Okay, got it. I'm not sure why my music didn't have any sound. I know it worked this morning. It worked just fine this morning. So it's been a few hours, you guys. I thought I'd come on a little bit early, make sure everything's working, because this morning I had some technical issues. Didn't want to have those tonight, and visit with you a little bit. Hello, Dawn and Donna and Ampro. I hope I said your name right. How are you guys? Let me pop Facebook up over here. Donna. How are you, Donna? Good to have you here. Be sure that you comment on here to get in the drawing for the winning of the ornament that I am painting tonight, plus a few other added bonuses. I'm going to be giving the name of the person that won from our last live, and hopefully she'll be able to contact me. So Dawn, I can hear you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Veronica. I appreciate that. Man, just, I just don't understand why things work one minute and the next minute they don't work. It's so frustrating and confusing. I know why I couldn't go live this morning, because we got new Wi-Fi and I hadn't set up my stringing program with the new stuff. So I know why that happened. I'm just glad that I could figure it out very quickly. But I don't know why I don't have sound now, and I had sound this morning. So I'm going to have to take something off and reinstall it, apparently. Nothing can be easy in the technology world. At least not for me, and I know just enough to not be dangerous with it. So, all right. I don't know how many of you joined me this morning. I know Veronica was there this morning. So I'm going to throw out a question for you guys and give me your input. I really need your input. I mean, so many times I ask you guys questions and I don't get hardly any feedback, and I need some feedback. So I'm thinking about starting a membership group. It's a paid membership group. And you would have access to stuff that I wouldn't give access to anybody else. We would be doing our own lives just for us, and designs and techniques and things that I would show you. Because I do so much on my YouTube channel that is free for everybody. But I wanted to have a core group, that really wanted to learn more from me. So I am ready to start a group if people are interested in it. So I 100% need feedback on this, because I have a lot of subscribers on this YouTube channel, and I can do it through YouTube or I can set it up through my website. So it really depends on my feedback, what I get for my feedback. So give me your thoughts on having a group that would, you guys would get special things. I would love it. Dawn, I'm in for a group with you. Oh, thank you so much, Dawn. I appreciate that. So yeah, I've been thinking about it for quite a while, already writing down ideas and things that, we can do, and got, kind of a lot of ideas. So it's one of those things where I if I'm going to do it, I want to make sure that, I've got some people on board with me. So, all All right, it's 6 o'clock. Thank you, Ruby. I appreciate you. Such a faithful follower, you and Dawn and Veronica, all of you are. I am going to put myself up in the corner here. I'm going to show you one thing real quick that I forgot to show you this morning. If you missed my coffee and chat this morning, you can catch that on my YouTube channel because it did not go to my Facebook page. So if you want to see it, you'll have to go to the YouTube channel and see it. And it was I was showing some things that I did with glitter and UV resin. And so I did a pair of my scissors. Now, you guys, these scissors are very, very old. This is the very first pair of scissors that I ever purchased. My husband bought me a sewing machine for my first birthday after we got married. I was so excited about that sewing machine because I love to sew. So I've had this pair of scissors. We'll be married 45 years in February. So I have had, in August, I'll have had these scissors for 44 years. That's a long time. And then probably about 5 years later, I bought this pair so I could have a second pair. But you can see the difference in them. First of all, this part is different. And then this one here is really, let me get it up there, is really thick. And this one is really thin. Okay? I keep this pair at the cabinet behind me so I have scissors back there to use, because I have new sewing scissors. And then this is the pair I forgot to show you that I did the glitter and UV resin on. I showed some pens and pencils that I had done it on. So I decided to do my scissors, and I think they turned out super, super cool. I love them being all glittery. I love me some glitter. Sue is looking forward tonight. Hello, Paula. Donna, I'll catch the replay from this morning. Hectic day at work. I get that. Hectic day. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? So I just wanted to show you those real quick because I forgot to show them this morning. All right, we're here to paint this lovely design. The star is at CD Wood. The link is below on YouTube in the description. Where you can get this at CD Wood, and currently they have it on sale for like $1.25. So man, grab a whole bunch. So I'm painting it with this light color, obviously, because I've got mine prepped with the background color and my line drawing on. But you have the option of painting the background any color you want. This is the color in the palette, Moody Blue, and I just added a little bit, just a touch of black in it to darken it, and then added my bokeh effect on it. But I like this lighter one because it makes the scarf pop more, I think. So you can get the packet for this on my website, lonnalamb.com. I think it's $8, and it has everything, all the information that you need, the line drawing, the instructions, the pictures, everything right in there, the list of paints and all that stuff. So I'm going to set this somewhere over here so I can kind of glance at it every now and then. Put my scissors up. And we're going to get started on this. Now I'm going to do the bokeh background first. I do UV resin and epoxy pens and tumblers. Nice. Well, I just started using UV resin, and I really like it. I've got some molds I haven't tried yet, so I'm going to have to get some tips from you. I love the bokeh, yes. Sue loves both colors. Bokeh, it's my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do. So I'm going to grab a stencil brush. It doesn't matter what size. I mean, this is not a very big piece, so, that's a pretty big size stencil brush. You could go down to a 3/8 one, and do it with that. I might go down to that size. Might make it a little bit easier. Okay, so the bokeh effect in the background. You can do it all with just this size holes if you want to. I think on this one not that one. This one I did just the small holes on this one. Okay, but on this side I did a combination of the small ones and this size, which is, let's see, this size is 1/2 inch and this size is 1/4 inch. So you can buy these individually on my website like this. You can also buy this stencil that starts at 1/4 inch, goes up 1/4 inch all the way up to 2 inches. And then I also have this one that is random circle sizes. Some of them are not shaped quite as a circle. But this one is excellent for bokeh background because of the odd shapes. Bokeh is not always perfect, so you don't have to be perfect with it. So it's really up to you what you want to do. I think I'm just going to use this one tonight, do it up a little bit different, and you know, it doesn't have to be the same all the time. So we're going to get some paint out on our palette. Ruby, you make earrings. Okay, I did make a pair of earrings recently with some UV resin, and they turned out kind of cute. I put some glitter in there, and you know, they turned out pretty well, I must say. I haven't worn them yet, but I thought they turned out cute. Okay, so we're going to take our base color and white. I'm going to go ahead and spritz my water over here. I don't need it for this first part, but you know, I like to have my water on my palette. I like to be ready. And first we're going to mix these two. Okay, then I'm going to take my dry paper towel and remove a lot of that. I want my bokeh in the background. I might have to get a little bit more white because that looks very close to the background color. So a little bit more white mixed in there. Let's see if this is even going to show up. Let's give it a test. Oh yeah, that's going to show up. So I'm going to remove a little bit more of my paint because my first layer I don't want to be super bright. I just want it to be. And you can do any size circles on here that you want to. The very first layer is my lightest layer. I don't want it to get too dark, or too bright, I guess I should say, until I start bringing more of these forward. So just move your stencil all around, and whatever size circles you want to put on there, it will not be wrong. Now, you don't have to do this with a stencil. You can do it with, where's those 3 I was working off of? There was 3 together that I really liked. Oh, there they are. You can do this just with a paintbrush, you know, just a small paintbrush. I would get one that's got really short bristles, and work those into the background. My computer just made a noise, so I hope that I did not go off from going live. Well, it still looks like, well, that's delayed, so I hope I didn't lose my connection. It made that noise like I lost my connection, so hopefully I'm still going. So let me know if I'm still going. So yeah, you can use a brush to do this as well. You do not have to use a stencil brush. So don't worry about getting into your elements, because you know we're gonna paint all those in, get right up to them, put some right beside it. You know, you want them to look tucked behind there. You don't want them to look like they are you know, just all sticking away from it. So just all the way around. This is still just my first layer of ones that are the lightest. Let's get some. I mean, because this circle right here looks kind of like an oval. I kind of like that. I like them to be different, not all the same. All right, I'm going to put just a little bit more white into that mix there. and then we're going to start another layer. I like to do about 3 layers. I like for my final layer to be just white, but I really like to kind of fill up my background. But you can have it more, you know, subtle and a little bit less going on. Don't feel like you have to do as much as I do, because I tend to get carried away with my bokeh. So you just do whatever makes you happy. The look that you like. But I do want to fill it in and then start layering on top. Those are really light down there. Just layering on top of, it could be a little bit darker. Grab a little bit more paint. You notice how far I went with my first round. I mean, I didn't have to go back over and reload my brush because I'm not putting a ton of paint on here. A little bit more white, a tiny bit of that. And then let's go over here and do some, oh, that was on the, that was on the sweater. Or not sweater, the scarf. I kept calling it a sweater earlier, so I probably will continue to call it a sweater, so don't be surprised. Well, thank you for that, Donna. I'm glad I didn't get disconnected. I don't like when my computer makes sounds while I'm doing a live. It, you know, kind of stresses me out. I think I just covered up that one that was there. All right, I'm going to put a couple down here. A little one down here. I mean, our tassels will probably cover that up, but, you know, have some fun with it and just be loose and fun and playful. Love, love, love. Okay, let me put one out here because I don't like my edges to not have things coming off of them. So let's make sure we got some stuff going on our edges here. Put a big one down here. Okay, so now I think I'm going to go one more step. So I think I'll wipe out any paint that's in there, which there's really no paint left in my brush. I just wiped it right there. Nothing came off my brush. So I'm going to load just white. Tap, 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 tap. And this will be my final layer. I want it to be the brightest layer. So I have a little bit more paint in my brush. I didn't remove near as much paint. And I'm tapping these in because I do have quite a bit of paint in my brush currently. And until I use up some of that paint, I need to tap so I don't get any underneath the stencil. Okay, let's get one in here. So you see how we're building that beautiful background. A little bit bigger one in here on the side. Like a medium size one there. A little piece coming off the edge over here. Need a little bit up here. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more paint to finish out down here at the bottom. You guys have all seen me do this bokeh effect, but you know, you never know if somebody new is coming here to watch, so I want them to see how to do it as well. The overlaying part, that is important. let me put a little one over here. And then maybe a little piece of one down here. All right, I think that looks pretty good. That's got a lot going on there in the background. I like it. I'm done with it. I'm happy with it. You know, you can keep going as much as you want to do. Wipe that brush. Oh, I forgot to get my water. All right, talk amongst yourselves. I didn't get my water basin. Hang on. No, it's just been that kind of week, I'm telling you. It's been a crazy, crazy week. Alright, let me rinse that brush out because I'm done with it. And we are going to move on to other things. Alright. Okay. Now that that's done, let's get some base coats on. We're going to put our whipped cream, that's in our cocoa, right here. So we need some blue out. We're going to mix it with some white. We just want it to be a light blue so that when we put our highlight on there, it will show up. So not too dark a blue and not too light, so just a little. Okay, that's a lot of blue. Get that moisture out of my brush. I might have to go to a smaller brush to get into some of these areas here on this Cool Whip. Let's see how this looks. That's pretty blue. I think it's pretty blue, so I'm going to get a little bit more white. Let's see how that looks. That's a little bit lighter. We'll go with that. Alright, we're painting in the Cool Whip. And I definitely think I need a smaller brush, but I'm going to work it out with this bigger one here. I didn't make my top here right. Should have a little hook on it. And we'll detail that out later. And this side. I have to put 2 coats on here, so. Alright, that's a very, very light blue. I like that. Alright, let's put a base coat on our straw while that's drying. And see if I give an instruction on the straw. Oh, it's a peppermint stick, not a straw. There you go, peppermint stick. Okay, all right. It's a color remix for our circles out here. The background color in white. We don't want it so light colored that we won't see our highlight when we put it on here. So just keep that in mind. I'm just doing an equal mix here. I didn't draw it in very straight. So, you know, if you didn't draw it in very straight, just adjust it as you paint it. You have total control. If you want yours to be a green peppermint stick, you can paint it green, then paint the cup red. That'd be cute. Alright, let's get, while that's drying, we're going to get our initial coats on, so they'll be drying, and then we will go back and put our second coats on. So it's a good time, if you have questions, to throw them out there. Okay, the cup is a mix of leaf green and titanium white, so 2 to 1. 1, 2, 1. This is really a pretty fast project. Probably what takes the longest of the whole project is the background, because it's very easy to get caught up in the background and, you know, decide when it's time to stop adding the bokeh effect into the background. We don't have to worry too much about being neat on that top edge, because we got to put a black edge up there. Alrighty, let's see. I think it's about time for me to get new paintbrushes out. I feel like all my paintbrushes I'm overworking them. I work them till they can't go anymore. Okay, this is burnt sienna. And we're going to base in our scarf with this color. Mix it with some white. I think that's what I mixed it with. Yep. White. So it gives us this kind of lovely orangey color. We are supposed to get rain. It actually was raining when I came in here to get ready to start my live. I don't think it's raining right now. But it's supposed to start raining tonight and not stop until Monday night at 7 o'clock. So we might get a little break on Saturday, a few hour break in the rain, but it's not going to be a lot. So just paint each section in. Way you can retain all of your shapes of everything. 1, 2, 1. Mix, mix, mix. Some in the paint right there. So I don't know where you live, but I am ready to be done with the rain. I know we need a lot of rain in the springtime. Helps us get through the summer, part of it. But goodness gracious, we've had so much rain. It's unrelenting, and storms and tornadoes and trees falling down and fences falling down, and it just won't stop. Not worried about getting it on my handle there, because I'm going to paint that handle black. Okay, first coats are messy, 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 but that's okay. I'm just going to wait and paint the handle after I get my second coats on everything. Hello, Linda from Texas. I'm glad you're here. All right, fresh white out. We're going back up to the Cool Whip, which is white and just a little bit of that blue. Teeny tiny. I mean, I'm getting paint on, look, see how much paint I got? And that's probably more paint than I want to mix with that white. So you see, it's such a small amount. All right, let's see how this looks. Yeah, I think I might leave it there. I don't want it to be too blue. See if I can erase that graphite line that I didn't need. I have been freezing all day, but now I'm sitting here underneath all these lights and I feel like I'm gonna melt any second. I'm gonna have to take my sweater off. Not sure what that noise was. Maybe my husband dropped something. Alright, make sure your second coats go on nice and smooth, no lumps, bumps, or ridges. We don't want any of that in there. Okay, this one was our base color and white. Our peppermint, not our straw. All right, green, 2, 1. Mix, mix, mix. Might need a touch more green because I grabbed quite a bit of white there. Now this is the least favorite part of any painting, is getting those base colors in there, because we just want to get on to doing the pretty stuff. All right, Linda from Texas. What part of Texas are you from? I have family that lived in Texas. So that little bit that's left there of the burnt sienna, I'm just going to add some white to it. So I'll just mix it right there. And then, oh, I forgot this one a while ago. I didn't hear anybody yelling at me and say, hey, you forgot part of your scarf. Nobody said a word. Come on. Come on. I'm counting on you guys. I really feel like that needs just a tiny bit more burnt sienna in it. I think it needs to be just a little more orangey, in my opinion. That was looking a little chalky and I didn't like it. So I'll add a little bit more burnt sienna and repaint that one, because it's too chalky for me. Not worried about getting out there because, you know, when we start adding our fuzzies to our scarf, oh, I almost called it a sweater, that will get covered up. That probably wasn't quite dry enough. It looked like I lifted some of the paint there. But we're going to be putting other layers on it. I do want this to be a little bit darker though. Just gonna, since it's wet, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the burnt sienna and put that in there and hopefully not lift the paint that's already there, because I feel like there's a ton of paint on that section. Okay, that's looking super cute. You had to turn your heat back on, Veronica. Well, I have no doubt our heat's going to have to come back on maybe this weekend, because we're only going to be in the 60s and our house is so well insulated that I get cold very easily. So I'm over the rain too. I live in Indiana, Don. Oh man. Hi, Lynn. Yeah, the rain is just all across this whole country. I feel like it's been one natural disaster after another. I think we're all ready for a break, no matter where we live. All right, let me get that black on the handle. I almost forgot about the handle. Seems kind of thin. Skinny right there. Didn't look right. Yeah, paint looked awful thin when I dumped it out, but now it doesn't seem like it wants to flow. It wants to just dry up. It must be hot too. Has wild hairs. I'll have to do some trimming on that brush. It's got some wild hairs. It's not shaped right here. Okay. Alright, all of our base colors are in. Let's make sure everything's dry so we can get to making it pretty. Alright, I'm going to grab a small angle brush here. And I was going to start on the Cool Whip, but I think I'll start on the peppermint. Okay, so for the peppermint, I'm just going to grab, I've got an old brush over here. I'm just going to grab an old brush. You can use it wet or dry. Actually, I think I might dampen it so maybe it will release a little bit of the paint easier. And I'm going to get some white on my brush and then remove a lot of it, because we're going to dry brush down the center of this peppermint stick, not straw. So I'm just going to dry brush down the center. I don't want it to get over onto those edges because that's going to start our shading for this. So you see it down the center there. We want it to dry. So I'll let it dry and then apply another layer on it. So while it is drying, I'll go to my angle brush here and we'll just move on to our Cool Whip, whipped cream, whatever. I'm going to take my blue and the tiniest little bit of black. See, that's a lot of black. So I'm going to get some more blue on my brush and move away from that. And I'm going to get a little bit of it. And I think I need a little white in there too. A little white. We're making this really soft blue-gray color. And it is really a light color. Just a touch more of that. So you really want to work it into your breath with some water. Tap your paper towel to remove a little bit of it because we don't want this to be super dark. Like that's like way too much on my brush. So wipe it off on a wet spot and that'll keep your brush moist. And we're just going to go right along here. Start making our little, I need some water. Paint's not going anywhere. A little bit here. I don't want it that wide. Use your finger and try to soften that out. Let me zoom you in just a little bit. I will probably get you off camera now that I've zoomed you in here. Now, for me, on the camera shot, that looks really, really dark. But in front of me, it's not that dark. But if you get yours a little dark, don't worry about it. We're going to add some lighter colors on here so we can cover it up, or you can just get some of your base mix here and paint a little bit of that over it. And that will lighten it up, so, you know, it's always going to be fixable one way or another. So this is about how light I wanted it to be. It's how light this is, and that does look a little dark. So, but we'll work with it. We got it. Okay, dry brush a little bit more white. So I'm going to get the moisture out of my brush. I'm just going to squeeze the moisture out. The excess moisture. It's got to have a little bit of moisture in it. It doesn't always have to have. You know, dry brushing can be done two ways. So you do whatever works best for you. So a little bit more white in the center. Let me erase this graphite line here. Anything I have not put paint over, I can get off. Okay, let's do stripes on our peppermint, not our straw. Okay, I'm going to see if this brush will do me a fat enough stroke. Now, peppermint can be painted so many ways. I did mine with a fat line and then a skinny line. So I did all my fat lines first, and then my skinny lines with a detail liner. Okay, and then I came back and did a second coat on the fat ones. So I did the same over here, but you know, if you leave a big gap between your wide ones, you could put two skinny stripes. I mean, you could make it all skinny stripes, however you like to paint peppermint there. To me, there's no wrong way to paint peppermint, so. So just paint some stripes in. This is a pretty small peppermint, so I'm gonna I'm gonna be a little bit more. Oh, I just slid my thing forward. I'm gonna be a little bit more controlled with my peppermint. I'm gonna make sure I go all the way to the edge. However many stripes work out for yours will be just fine. Doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Your stripes could go the other direction. Your stripes could go up and down. I mean, you know, peppermint, there's so many different kinds of peppermint. You could put green stripes in there too, I mean, along with your red ones. We probably won't see this one down here, and that is awful close to that one, so we probably won't see that at all. I'm going to put a little bit up here on this corner. So I have an extra little stripe there that I don't really need, but it's going to be covered up, so not to worry. All right, let's put a thin line in between. You know, and that's wide enough. I could actually put two in there, but I'm just going to do one like my painting. Okay. And then, of course, we have to put a second coat on those wider ones. So take your time. There is no rush to any of this. Painting should be relaxing. It is my relaxing time. And a lot of times I forget the time period when I am painting. So, all right. While the peppermint is drying, let's go add some highlights onto our Cool Whip. So I'm going to use white. I really don't want to have any moisture in my brush. You know, you want it damp so it releases the paint, but I don't want it to have so much in it that it thins my paint. So we're just going to highlight these sections so now you can really tell. You know, when I first started with that light blue, to me it looked really light. But now we can see that it was just right. We'll put Acrylic on this. But for now we're just... And you don't have to make your highlights perfect, you know. If you're wiggly with it, that's good. I mean, Cool Whip's not perfectly perfect. And if you want to lighten this just a little, just barely skim some white over it and kind of push it in there. We're going to come back and repeat the highlight. So, and we're going to tap some stuff on it and make it look a little more textured. The peak up there, though, I want it to be really white. Okay, that's a good start there. Looking good. Any questions from anyone? All right. All right, let's do some shading on our peppermint now. I just used my Santa Red, it looks like. It's a very small amount. I'm using my 1/4 inch angle. I'm really working it into my brush so it gets sheer. We don't want this to completely fill up our peppermint. So there is our first edge. I think I'll dry that because I want to go down the other edge. I don't want it to be hot when I paint on here because it will heat set my paint immediately. Dry, and we will repeat that. Put a little bit down here, and you know, down here is not too important because we got stuff that's going over it, but in case something's peeking through, you want to have a finished peppermint there. Okay, I'm going to go back up to my Cool Whip and do one more of the white before we add some texture in here. I think this ornament might be my ornament I paint for Christmas this year. I really like this ornament. I think it is super cute. I might paint my cup blue though, because blue is my color for my Christmas. But I like to paint ornaments for the grandkids, so I could give them a whatever is their favorite color cup. Alrighty, let's do that float on the peppermint again. Remember, work it into your brush with that moisture that's in there so you can keep it nice and soft. And if you weren't here when I first started, this star ornament is one of my shapes that I used to sell. And CD Wood has the shape now. They have it on their website. It is underneath my name, and currently it is on sale. So if you want a peppermint, star. You could want a peppermint. I don't know. Maybe you're craving a peppermint now. All right, let's do our highlight. And it doesn't have to be a solid line. It can be broken up. All right, peppermint's done. Let's finish out our Cool Whip stuff. So this brush I'm going to be using a lot on this project. You see how worn out that is? This is a filbert brush. It's a size 6 that I have just worn out. I mean, just really just totally destroyed this brush, but it is my favorite brush. I love it. You can do so much with it, and so we're gonna use it a lot in this video. So I'm gonna get some white in my brush, kind of work it in there. My brush is dry, but it could be wet as well. I probably will work with it wet later. And we're just going to add some texture into our Cool Whip, a little bit of texture in there. This is where you can kind of come over those shaded areas if you don't like them. It's okay if it goes down to green because we got to put a black rim on there yet. So if you have a old brush that you have just beat up to pretty much you think it's unusable, it's probably going to be the best brush to use. We're going to be using this brush down on our scarf to get our fluffy texture. All right, I'm going to go in front of the peppermint with this because our stuff is going to come across it. I'll have to do that a couple times to make it really show up. Let me go ahead and make the little curly Q on the Cool Whip. Shape that a little bit better. It's a little wonky. So just a cute little curly Q. Fun, fun, fun. I was 48 here in Ohio. Oh, it was 48. Oh, yeah. I'd be having my heat on if it was 48 too. But you refuse to turn the heat back on. Well, I probably wouldn't turn the heat on. We have a gas fireplace in the living room, and I would probably have my husband turn it back on. We've got the gas off of it right now. Get a little bit more. I want it to be irregular right there on that. Okay. Just tap a little bit. Give it a little texture. Okay. All right, let me dry that so we can finish off our Cool Whip. It's looking delicious. All right, so now we need some chocolate color out. Chocolate, gotta make some cocoa look in here. And we want it pretty thin. We don't want heavy paint here. We can come back and repeat it if we need to, but and I'm just going to very messily put this in. I don't want it to be smooth. Make it look like, you know, there's chocolate down in there. Maybe just a tiny bit more on this edge over here. Okay, that's a lot. Maybe not that much more. My watch keeps bossing me around. Get up and move. Time to stand up. Oh, that looks so good. All right. So to finish off right there, we're going to tap just a little bit more. I'm going to get some of that moisture out of my brush. There's way too much in there. I don't want excess moisture when I'm doing my fuzzy fuzzies. So we're going to put a little bit in here. Actually, I'm going to get my black painted on the edge because I want a little bit of that tapping right there to go onto our edge of our cup. Moisture. My brush was dragging. Moisture is what you need. Still dragged a little bit right there. Okay. There's the edge of our cup. So let me go back to make sure that's dry. I don't want my Cool Whip to turn black. I just want a little bit of this Cool Whip stuff, and it can come over onto the, don't cover up all your chocolate, just a light little tapping, you know, like it's got some coming up on the edge of the cup. Okay, looks pretty good. But don't cover up your chocolate. Put it back in if you do. Okay, let's go to the cup now. See, this is moving very quickly. And let me get a little bit bigger angle brush for this 3/8 inch. Hello from North Texas. Where are you? I am from Springfield, Missouri, but I have family that live in Texas. So what? You're from North Texas. They're more around the Austin area is where my family lives. And we drove down to see them. And normally it takes us 10 or 11 hours, depends on how much we stop. It took us over 13 hours because of the traffic. It was ridiculous. Standstill traffic, not moving anywhere. It was the worst drive we've ever had down there. All right, I mixed a little bit of black in with my green, so we can start adding some shading on here. A little bit of moisture. Grab a mop brush so I can soften that a little bit. And then we'll go up here to this edge. I'm kind of up on the toe when I get up there, but I do want to kind of round this a little bit. I want my cup to look like I've not got a flat side there. I think I put just a tiny little bit of this underneath this rim. And we'll dry this and then repeat our shading everywhere except probably under the rim. Well, it's not wanting to release out of my brush at all. Narrow that a little bit with that water edge of my brush. I just want it to be right there underneath that a little bit. Okay, let me dry this. Going down to 45 tonight, Veronica. It was almost 35 the other night. That's just too cold for this time of year. We should be having spring temperatures. I will. I don't know. I just dip my thing in the black. I guess because I need black. Need black to mix in there. I don't like it when we go from winter straight into summer. That's just too much. Way too much. Okay, a little mopping there. I should take care of the shading on the cup. Looks pretty good. So let's add a little highlight on the handle and up here while we let that shading on the cup dry a little bit. So we don't need a whole lot on the handle, just a little bit. And then on the rim too, just a little. Okay. I think I might need to put some water in my brush. Sometimes my white, I don't feel as very bright. Okay, that looks good there. A little highlight on the cup, and you can make your highlight however you want. I just kind of dry brushy put some on there. That's a pretty green. What color is it? It's leaf green and white mixed together. Leaf green is actually my favorite green in the whole Americana line. I just love it. So you've probably seen I use it in a lot of my designs because it's my favorite color. I try to branch out, but I always go back to that color. So we're just going to dry brush some streaky stuff here, a little bit here. Again, a couple places, and really that's all we need. We don't need to do any more than that. That's plenty. Really, the sweater is more our focal point, I feel like, than anything else because it is so cute and fuzzy. Love it. Okay, we're ready to go to the sweater now. Now that sweater, I knew I'd be calling it a sweater. Before it was done, I knew I would be calling it a sweater. Pam, I love Springfield, a great place to junk shop for fun things to paint on. Oh yeah. We have a lot of those here. And my husband and I both love going to them. Okay, let's see. Okay. Now, I'm going to start out on this sweater using just a small stencil brush. This one is a 1/4 inch, just to get placement for some of my darker colors. Let's get some of our other colors out here. I'll put some fresh, I got red out. I'll put some fresh burnt sienna out. And maybe some fresh almondine. I may have to put some fresh white out by the time I get to the white. I might go ahead and put it out so I can start thickening up a little bit. Okay. So I want to lay in some of our darker colors first. I have to look at my instructions because I'm trying to remember what colors I used. I know what colors I need in it, but okay, it was lamp black and dark chocolate. But first, it looks like I did, I think I'm going to put my dark chocolate and lamp black mix in here first. My instructions say that I did my orangey color first on here first. Maybe I should do that. I watched the video today of how I painted it. Because I made a video because I can never remember. But I'm going to see if this turns out, because it says I tapped this color in here first. I do kind of remember this on the video. This is that orange color. I just kind of tapped it everywhere and not too particular about, where it it went. It's just adding another layer of color in the base color. Okay, and then I think I'm going to put the dark in now because I know the next colors that I put in are not in this order. I'm going to remove some of that paint because I want to put my colors in here for my shadowy areas. So I'm just tapping this mix of brown and black here. And creating some of my dark areas on here. Just with this small stencil brush. You know, tilt it up on the corner if you feel like you're getting it too wide. Just, you know, try and use one edge of it and tap along where you want it to go. That's a little dark. I'm going to put a little more brown in there. I want it to be more brown black, not black. It's okay if you get outside of the edges. We're going to have a lot of fuzzy stuff going on. A little bit along this top edge, but you know, not a lot. We need some back here because this is going to be a dark corner back here. Kind of right in there. So just establish your dark values because we're going to start tapping stuff on here. And okay. I'm going to rinse that brush out because I don't think I'll need it again. Hello, Miss Laura. How are you? Okay. So we did that orange color, which was Warm Sunset. So now we're going to do it with a little bit of this. Don't want it too bright. And we're going to tap this in here. It's okay if you come up past your edges. This is still like the background stuff before we start adding all the other stuff. Okay, so this is where if you want to have stripes, you can go across like this, which I kind of did stripe things on here, you know, just by tapping. You know, it all comes together in the end. Okay, that's a lot of paint on my brush. I always start out tapping super, super light because I don't know how much is going to come off of my brush as I am doing this. And I don't want it to get crazy and lay down, you know, tons of paint. And we'll go over to this edge. We'll put our little tassels on here after we get a little bit more on this. I'm going to try and create a few little stripes in here with this, but we're going to mostly do red stripes. So. It's okay to go out of the lines. Just remember, start out light. Light pressure, light pressure. Get a little bit more fuzzies down here. All right, let's move on to a new color here. All right, so we're going to mix the red and the orange together. More red than orange, so be a 1 to 2 mix. Start tapping some red in here. wherever you want it to be. There's no right or wrong, okay? I just tried to create the look of maybe some stripes going across here. You know, it's all still just under stuff, you know, because by the time we get our fuzzy fuzzies on there, let's put some red up here. Okay, let's get a little bit of almondine. Seems like I came back with my red a second time. Yeah. So I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of this lighter color in here, which I'm not even sure we can see because it's drying up on my brush. I'm just mixing a little almondine in with that mix that I made right there. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brush out and get some of that paint out. You don't necessarily have to rinse your brush out because I did all this just going right into the next color. But I felt like my brush was just getting too overloaded, too muddy. So I'm going to get some just red. And tap some of that in here. A little bit up here. Okay, and I want those orange stripes to stand out a little bit more, so we'll go into some orange. And get this in here for our little bit brighter underpainting. So you just kind of play around with it. Use whatever colors that you want, but it's already looking super cute, I think. It's definitely going to look like one of those fuzzy sweaters by the time we're done. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the tassels on at this point. We're just going to use the colors that we used here. I'm going to start with the burnt sienna. This orange here, more sunset. Okay, and then some red. Blob of water just rolled down my brush. Okay, those are some good tassels. Let's dry them. How's everybody doing? Okay. I'm going to do just a little bit of shading along that. You can do the red or the orange or the brown, you know, whatever. I do want to mix some darker color in it, so you can mix either black or burnt sienna in with it. I think I'll... it looks like I just grabbed every single color that I had there. Just want to shade right here and connect it. And then I'll put just a few white ones in there. And the tassels will be done. And then we're ready to go to our fuzzy fuzzies. All right. Tassels are done. All right, let's go back to our worn out little brush here. So we're going to do the base color here and the white mix together. And I have too much moisture in my brush from rinsing it out. Oh, looks like it still has some red paint in it, so let me rinse it again. Squeezing the excess moisture out. Make sure you get yourself an old beat up brush. And if you don't have one, just a scruffy brush, but make sure it's not super big. Okay, this is the white and almondine mixed together. And we're just going to start, take a little bit of that paint off. I'm so lightly tapping on here because I don't want very much paint to come off at first. I just want it to look like little fuzzy hairs on here. I just love the look of this. Okay, that's a little much. Keep a baby wipe handy if you get a little bit too much. You can lift it off with a baby wipe. I think I need to mix some more paint. Okay. Just a light tapping. Oh, it's looking so cute. I love this fuzzy little scarf. Lightly tap after you refill your brush. You can hear the thunder outside. Okay, that was a lot of paint right there. I'll have to take some of that off because that's going to bug me. Now, just a light tap. Much better. Oh, what are you thinking? Oh, it's so cute. I'm going to wipe the excess out and just get the white now. Try not to cover up all of your previous layers, so I'm doing less of the white so that I don't cover up all of that, but I want it to look like it's got some highlights. You know, some of those fuzzy little hairs that are sticking up a little bit higher than others, or maybe they're just white ones. Oh, so cute. Cute, 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 cute. Just make sure you start out really light with your tapping, because you don't want to get too much in there. Make more work for yourself. I do want to make sure we push that kind of shading color down in there. All right, don't want to forget this one down here. Now, if you feel like you lose your shading, you can come back in and float it. But I did not do that. A little bit more white. I need more texture out here. Alright, then just take a look at it and see where you think you might need just a few little dab mores of just some white. A little bit more down here. Oh, that is so cute. Got my shading a little dark over there, but I think it'll be okay. That is so cute. So cute. Alright, we just got one more thing to do to finish this one. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love that fuzzy little sweater. Scarf. I'm gonna have to get me a sweater now. Fuzzy sweater. I keep calling that fuzzy sweater. Alright, our last thing is to just put a little bit of brown around the outside here with our chocolate. That's about dried up. Some moisture so I can move it. That went in burnt sienna. I'm not sure that would look quite the same. Make sure you've got some moisture in your brush for this. That way you can keep it nice and soft and not let it get too carried away. A little bit more paint for the, like the, I don't know, the pointy parts of the star. I like for those to be a little bit darker. I need to let the person know who won from last week, and I'll gather up all the names for the comments tonight, and on my next live I'll draw a name for someone to take home this cute little ornament that I just love, 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 love. I love it so much. It's just that scarf is so fuzzy and so cute. Here, I'll put my original one out here so we can compare them. And this one's a little darker, so I probably did a third layer on here of the fuzzies, but I like them both. I like them with more lighter fuzzies, and I like it like this. So I'm very pleased with how it turned out. It looks super cute. Super duper cute. What brush were you stippling with? It looked like a Dynasty Silver brush. It is a Dynasty Silver brush, but it is a very worn out filbert. I have just beat this thing up. It is a 6 filbert. It is my favorite brush of all my brushes that I have. So you just really need some kind of worn out brush, but you know, I really just been using and abusing this brush, and I love how it you know, with the texturing with the worn out brush, how it did. I think you're going to have to design something with a fuzzy sweater. I think I am, since I kept calling this one a fuzzy sweater. You're right. Okay, let's get real quickly to who is going to, or what name I drew for winning. Because my first giveaway, I didn't get contacted by the person, and I haven't seen this person comment. So maybe she will watch the video and get back to me. But if she contacts me, she's going to get the extender and water mix that I showed to use on the background, with a couple of makeup brushes that I used to blend it. One of my stencils that we did for this design. My original one that I made. I'm sorry. Something keeps popping up on my computer where my grandkids play a game. Somebody is on there wanting me to play, but not my grandchild. And then this one that I painted with the orange background. So you're going to get all this stuff right here in a stencil, and I may throw in a packet or something along with it. And the person that won on the Wheel of Winners is Coette Morris. So, Coette, I haven't seen you on here tonight, but if you watch this, contact me. My information is in the description below. At the very bottom of the description, it has my email address, so you can just contact me. So, what do you guys think of this one tonight? I loved this one. It's just one of my favorites. One of my favorite ornaments I've done. I've done a lot of ornaments, but this one was one of my favorites, Linda. I have some that look just like that. Well, then you have the perfect brush to make this fuzzy little scarf. So, great project. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Cheryl, thank you so much for being here. Kathy, you have a bunch of those brushes too. Yeah. You know, those brushes, I'm starting to get like a whole jar. This jar right here is my brushes that are starting to get worn out and frayed a little bit, so I can't get like smooth base coats with them, or, you know, the best floats. So I started a jar of, you know, slightly worn out brushes. And I still keep using them, so, you know, they work. They work. All right. Make myself a little bit bigger here. Turn off my palette cam. Find it. Keep going past it. There it is. I want to turn it off. Okay. All right. So here's what I made, and I just want to see if I have any questions. I'm going to get everybody's name written down and put you all in the Wheel of Winners. And hopefully your name will be drawn. And all right, you guys. So at the beginning, I mentioned that I am thinking about starting a membership group. So let me know if that interests you. It's a paid membership group. I've been thinking about it for quite a while. And already have ideas of what to do. So if it's something that you would join, let me know. And also, if you have any ideas of things that you want me to bring you on a live like this, you know, put those in the comments too. And let me know what kind of things you'd like to see, because you know, I like to do what appeals to you and makes you happy. Although I do like to paint what I like to paint too. You can add them into your flower bouquets. What? I can add what into my flower bouquets? I'm not sure what I can add into my flower bouquets. But yeah, let me know what you think about that. Go back and watch my coffee and chat from this morning. I showed a few things that I have been working on, and I've got quite a few videos to get up on YouTube. And yeah, I think that's make me big. I think that's about it. And let me check, make sure there's no questions. Thank you very much. I know I'm going to say your name wrong. Elke and Laura, thank you. What is the turntable you were using? Oh, this is, how do I do that? Oh, here it is. I have probably sent more people to Pinecraft for this. I should be getting a commission. Over the past couple of years, I probably sent 200 people to them for these wonderful wheels. I think I have one left on my website, which you still can use a 20% off coupon. 20% off of what I have this price for means I'm losing money. So if you want one, I have one left. Coupon code is shop now. But Pinecraft has these. I just, rotating easel is what I type in when I send someone a link. And yeah, I've had mine for, I don't know, probably 15 years or more. I got mine from Patricia Rawlinson when she sold them. So, but you can get one from Pinecraft. It's a rotating easel. Let me make sure. You're worn. Oh yeah. These are my worn brushes, Laura. These are my worn ones. They're just a little fuzzy on the edges. They don't look quite so fuzzy when they're dry, but when I go to paint with them, then I can see all the little fuzzy ends, and you know it doesn't quite paint as smoothly as what I would like. So I got eons of ones over there I haven't used yet, but you know it's like I just want to keep. I just want to keep using those. I don't want to go get my new ones and start using them. Okay. Your old paintbrushes make them unique. Yes. Okay, I understand, Cheryl. Yeah. Now that would be cute. You would like to join my group. Okay, well, I'm gonna be working on that. It'll probably be a little bit before I get it all organized and how I want to do it, but I'll put it out there and see what happens. So I think that's it for tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I really loved painting this one with you because it was one of, well, I think it is my favorite ornament that I've ever painted, because I just love that fuzzy little scarf. So that's it for me. Be watching for a couple, I think I have a premiere video coming out in a couple of weeks. It's the Day at the Lake, which I showed you this morning on my live. Love that one. That one was near and dear to me. It just brought back a lot of childhood memories. So be sure you watch that. Watch as much as you can. The watch time really matters for YouTube. So they won't push it out if people aren't watching enough of it. So, all right. I think I'm going to say good night. It stopped raining again. So we'll see how it goes through the night, and we're gonna have a rainy weekend. So I think a nice relaxing weekend is in order after this stressful week that I have had. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night, a wonderful weekend wherever you are, whatever you are doing. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for being here tonight, and I will see you on the next one. You guys have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.